Hello friend, welcome to my first beginner tutorial on HTML. So before we start, I just want to say that I will try to cover almost all the concepts as possible in just 30 minutes or less. So let's get started now. So first thing you want to do is you need an editor or IDE, which stands for Integrated Development Environment, to start this thing. But normally an editor like Notepad++, if you're on Windows would be enough, otherwise Sublime Text is also good enough. It works for everything, but my favorite is Visual Studio Code, code.visualstudio.com. Just make sure to visit this one instead of actual Visual Studio Code. So download it. It's available for Mac, Windows, and Linux too. So download it, install it, and open it. So as soon as you open it, you'll see the screen. Just click on create new file and save this file as hello.html. um, yeah, so this is how you this is the extension for your html files .html, like for text files .txt and for doc files .doc. So this is the extension for it, so save it. Now what is html? HTML stands for actually hypertext markup language. It was invented by a guy named Tim Berners-Lee in 1989 or something. I don't exactly remember the name, but remember the year. But just do a Wikipedia search and learn about him and simple history stuff. So I'm gonna avoid that now. So let's just start right into the main concept. So first I will display a text called hello world on our browser. So just write hello world and save it, and then open it on your browser. See this hello world. So basically, you actually can display any type of text, but HTML comes into play where you want to display text in an organized way, so like a document, right? So first, let's detail the skeleton of the HTML file. HTML. Now, before that, just make sure that HTML is a combination. It contains a lot of elements together, right? So each element has a closing tag and also has an opening tag with element name in between, right? So element name can be a heading, can be a paragraph, and I will tell you can be an image, and I will tell you how to do that now. So HTML starts with HTML and ends with HTML, and it has a head, ends with head. So each one is a tag. Body ends with body. So body is where you see the actual website stuff, like what you see when you visit a website. Where head is where you define styles, where you link different files, style related files. I'll tell you what styles are actually in a minute. And also you write something like titles, hello world. So let's save it and then reload it. You see this here? You saw hello world here. Now let's write something yoho. See this? Yoho. What is this? Okay. Yoho. So something like that. Um, so when I said styles, so HTML actually is just the basic representation of the text you are giving. But if you want to style them, like add different colors and things like that, then you should actually give them separate styles. There are different ways to do that, and for this tutorial, we're just gonna concentrate on just laying out actual HTML itself. I will also let I will also add some styling here and there, like basic inline styling. I'll tell you everything about it. But in our next tutorial, which is a CSS, which is I'll tell you what all these things. So we will learn more about it in the next tutorial, right? So just keep in loop. Alright, first let's display headings. In HTML there are 6 types of headings: H1, H2, oh sorry, h2, h3, and so on until h6, right? So each heading has, I'll just give the heading name, and each heading has different, will have different sizes. So let's save it and then open it, and you see this h1, h2, h3, h6. There are also h4 and h5, but you understood now. I mean, I think you get it. So this is how it is. Next, there are paragraph tags, which starts with a P and ends with a P. Starting tag, opening tag, closing tag, and in between, this is a paragraph. Got it? Good. Now let's see. This is a paragraph. See? Now let's add an image. Let's add a Tom Cruise image. So, image here is a self-closing tag. Ignore that. That means you don't need to, it's not like image open, image close like every other element. There are a few tags like that, like self-closing tags. I will talk to you in detail in a few minutes, but remember that for image we just need to, it closes itself. And now, so first, if we just reload the page, it won't show anything because we haven't given an image URL or anything. So what we should do is we add a source, and the source value should be the URL or the path of the image file, path or anything that's on your computer or anything. For now, I'll just give an URL from, I'll just get Tom Cruise URL from Google Images. So images, Tom Cruise, open image in new tab, and this is the image address. This is the thing. So what is src here? So src is an attribute of this image element. There are also another attribute called alt, and each attribute has a value. So source attribute has a value of the image URL. Alt attribute has alternate. So what alt attribute does is that in case this image has corrupted or for some reason taken out, then it will show a broken image like this. So let's say, so now it will show a broken image, then user will get confused, who is using your website will get confused. So this is a way of letting them know that this is a Tom Cruise related image. All right, so see that, so you can see the Tom Cruise right now, but you cannot see the Tom Cruise font text alternate, right? So that's how you do an image. Now let's talk about tables. Table. Now, table. So opening, closing. Each table is comprised of rows. So table rows, tr, table rows, table rows. So let's say each table has 3 rows, and now in the first row let's add table headers like name and table header age. Now in the second row let's add table data. That means this table data can be the name, Tom Cruise, and table data age is like 55 or something, I'm not sure. Let's change the value, Cruise, and let's reload, save and reload it. You see this name, Tom Cruise 55. So yeah, so just remember this thing. There are also a few other tags related to table, but uh, majority of the time you won't need to use tables. Other than that, if you really want to use, there are a few other things called t-body, t-head, but these are the main things you should know. But you might ask me why there are no borders or nice table kind of layout here, because we are not applying any styles to them, which we will focus in our next video. So alright, but So what is styles, you might ask? So for example, I might add a style attribute here and just give a color to this text as red, and I save it, I open it, see this, the text is red. So that's how you style it. Or other thing, if you want to learn text align center, see it came to the center of the page. So that's how you do it. So this is what styling is, and this type of configuring styles is inline styling, which is not recommended, and we won't normally in programming world we will not do it unless it's absolutely required. So but there is the other way of styling it is like this, like style tag, style tag open and close, and inside the style tag you select the element like p element, we select the p element, and there you give color blue. So for example, we just take it up, right? So now let's look at it. See, the color is blue right now. So but what if we give color here and also color here? So see, we gave color red and text answer, which styles will apply? So the main thing is inline style always get the preference, the more priority. So here's the thing, got it? So that's why I like it. But we will not use this way or this way in our actual programming lessons in future. We will actually define the styles in a separate file as a .css file, just like .html, .css. CSS stands for cascading style sheets. We will talk more about it in future. So keep up with me for now with this. Now let's talk about forms. Yeah, like for example, when you sign up or log in into a new website, or like websites like Facebook or Gmail, you will enter your email address and password. So let's design one like that. So form closing, let's remove these things for now so that it would be easier for you. And input is another self-closing tag. So we will now, it has an attribute called type, which tells us what type of data we are entering. Type is equal to just text, and we will also add another input box. Input type is equal, now let's add password. All right, now let's reload and see it here. The previous things are not here because we removed them. So here's the type. So it is the input type text, so we can type Tom Cruise, and the password, you can see it because it's a password type. Awesome. Now let's add a button submit. See that, submit. So normally this nothing will happen right now because this like normally forms are used so normally forms are used during, like forms are used along with programming, like programming JavaScript or PHP or other server-side languages, but for now this is the basics you need to learn. And let's add some options to select whether you are male or female. So select an option, male, option, female. I saved it, reload it, see that now, male or female. There are also other input types, like for example, input type is equal to radio, also input type is equal to checkbox, and if you see that this checkbox is radio, and there are various ways to determine things here. Like for example, we could just add a label here, and we can add a question, are you a good human? All right. Excuse me. Okay, so that adds a checkbox. So if you check it out, you're a good human, something like that. You got it's the label, just labeling the form types, like the form element types. All right, now I will now the another thing we want to learn is BR tag, which is breaks. It it makes enter elements in a new line. So for example, let's see how these things are in the same line. What if we want to enter them in a different line? So what we just do is here br open close. Br is another break, self-closing element. So see that reason. So but normally in css, when we use css, we don't use br often. We just style them using our different styling methods, which we will learn next video, of course. All right, now since this is done, I'm going to teach you about hyperlinks. Hyperlinks are the things that you link, that you place at different websites, link on your own HTML or website page. So for example, let's link google.com here. Google.com, it starts with A and ends with A, Google. So this is what we see normally. See Google. Now let's link it. Linking it, what we need to do is href, hyperlink reference. Href stands for hyperlink reference. So href https google.com. So now when you click on it, you'll go to google.com. But what if we want this to open in a new tab like this? So let's do that. So for example, all we need to do is we need to add another attribute called target with value of blank, and that will open it in a new tab. Awesome. Now we discussed about headers, paragraphs. Wait, let me tell you one thing. You can actually include an image inside here. So image is image closing tag src. Let's get another image, google.com, copy image address. Let's copy image address of Google. All right, so now let's check it out. See that? Now clicking on google.com, we clicking on Google image will open it in a new tab. That's cool, right? All right, now let's talk about let's talk about few other things like b tag and I tag. This is one way of styling things without using like css, but b tag means it makes whatever the text inside it as bold. Like imagine a p tag like hello, but in case of b tag it appears as bold. In case of I tag it appears as italic, like a cursive. So save it, you can see it now. See that? Hello is the p tag, this is the b tag, and this is our I tag. Got it? Good. Now is there a way to make p tag appear as bold? Oh yes, there is. Like I shown you before, style, font, weight, bold. That's one styling aspect. See that? It appear again bold. So basically we can avoid these things. Alright, now what else? Let's talk about videos. How about that? Alright, let's display a video here. So it starts with a video, it's close tag as a video. Now each video has a source inside it, not like attribute, but inside the child has a source, and source has src is equal to, here you should give the video URL. So let's get a video. I know a video, big buck bunny. So let's get this video here. Or I think it's not here. Oh, it is here. So let's get this video URL and paste it here. Okay, let's see what happens. See, it's not visible because we need to give, it should be visible. Why is it not visible? Maybe it's width. No, controls. Yep, I think it's controls. All right, Awesome. See, you can see the video right now, which is pretty cool. um, Controls means it just shows the controls like sound, like play, pause, and all these things, like full screen, things like that. Awesome. Now you know the videos. We can also include multiple videos here, like not just one video, like source src equal to another video here, and we can just copy and paste to show you. I think it's just if the different source we have here is because let's say if this source is not available, then this is what we check through this. Like this is what we show it, like different links, like fallback links. Understood? Good. Now there is also one more thing, like video format, video playing is not supported in your browser. So this is a fallback test. So video cannot be played. Something like if there is some kind of issue with the browser, like the browser is too old or something, this text displays like video is a new HTML5 tag as far as I can remember, if I'm not wrong. I'll tell you what is that HTML5, what that means. So there are some browsers like pretty small percent, like 1% I think, maybe if their browsers come across this code, then it will show this. Right now you cannot see that. Awesome. It's pretty much like an alt tag for image. Like, oh, by the way, always try to give an alt tag for an image. Uh, you might ask what's the use of giving an alt tag. It's because there are a few advantages of giving it, like SEO purposes, which is way out of the scope, and there is also, like I said, if the image for some reason has been blocked or like corrupted, user will see this since the image, since he can't access, he can't see the image. That way he can understand what's going on. And same here too. And there is also autoplay option, autoplay here, which actually autoplays the video as soon as, but I would recommend it. People hate autoplay on website. So we covered video, we covered forms, we covered all the things. Now let's talk about divs. So divs are like dividing different sections or dividing different content in a website. So we have form, we can actually make it as a div, uh, and we can include the form here, and we can also have a div here. We can include this image and video in that. Now there are divs here, but how do we differentiate between different divs? There is one way to do that. One is by adding a class and an ID. So class, this is how we add a class. Login page, login section, and yeah, okay, let's add a class here too. Class media section. Right. So now let's add an ID. I'll tell you what's the difference between a class and ID in a second. So ID is login, ID is media. Alright, so one thing that you should remember is that ID should be unique. That means if you have used an ID name login in one div, the same name cannot be used anywhere else. It should be different. So you cannot use login here. No way. That's against the rules. And now whereas class, you can use login section class here. Anywhere else, you can reuse the same class anywhere. So what is the use of these classes and IDs? So as I have told you, like ID is how you identify a div, whereas class is how you identify a div, and also you can actually apply different styling. Um, don't get me wrong, but you can apply styling using ID or class, but in normal programming conventional ways we use classes. Like most of the 90% of the time we use classes to style style the elements of a HTML page. ID is basically used for programming purposes, like getting the ID and then making some changes or animating things like that. But yeah, that's out of the scope for now. But just remember, ID is unique, whereas class, it can be repetitive and can be used anywhere else. So how do we make use of these things? So for example, we can get class by saying dot class login section, open brackets, close flop brackets, and sorry about that. uh, Now let's just do this. Inside this input has a border, 1 pixel solid red. What happened? Which one wrong? Colon expected. Oh sorry. Yeah. uh, there are different kinds of CSS. One, there is some new CSS called CSS framework called as CSS, where you can write different child inside, like nested childs, but that is not supported in actual CSS. So what we should do is login section input like this and add border 1 pixel solid red. So input will get a border of red. So see that, see this, easy, right? um, Now let's you can also do the same with id too, like for example hash login. Same happens, no change, but you prefer to use those things. mm. So let's say we did this here and we placed, let's add some text here, hello, and also let's add some text here, yo. Now the login section has a border of 1 pixel solid red and the color blue, right? That's what we're giving. So whatever inside this login section like text will get a blue color, and like hello will be blue color, and the border, there will be a border red, 1 pixel red around the div, around the entire div. So let's see that. See this? So this is our media section, this is our login section. Good. Now let's try to add the same class here, login section. See this? Now the same thing happened to here also. The color is blue and there's a border of 1 pixel red around it. So I think you got the idea behind it. If you have any questions regarding this, just let me know in the comment section. I will explain in detail again. But that's more like it with these classes and IDs. You can add classes and IDs to any element. For example, you can add a class or an ID. Class is equal to text or IDs to any element in HTML. All right. What else is there? I think that's all we have for now. Maybe I think we covered pretty much most of these things. Oh wait, there is one more thing. So yeah, I thought I said, I'll tell you about what HTML5 is. So before, the HTML we are using right now is HTML5 version. Before, I think a few years ago, maybe 10 years ago, I guess, I don't know, not sure. The W3C, World Wide Web Consortium, released HTML5, which has new tags like new elements like section, which is basically like a div if you ask me, and header and footer, things like this. Previously we have to do everything with div and give them a class of footer and then differentiate like that, but now we can just give it here and make that made life a bit easier. And also previously in HTML we always we there's always uh, a rule of inserting doc types. uh, up until 1 HTML1 to HTML4, the doc types are very big, like really big and confusing, but I mean really long and confusing. But right now with HTML5 we can either give that doc type or not. but if you're giving doc type, it's just like this, not a big deal. So another thing is that in HTML we can actually use same element inside things like div. We can use a div inside a div. We can use a p. Um, we can use a p inside a div too, like the same thing. So there are a few exceptions like I think you can't use an a inside a p like this maybe. I'm not sure. Not this is not recommended I guess, but I'm not exactly sure. There are a few rules. um, yeah, so that's more like it for now. I think I covered pretty much what you need to know to move forward. And if you have any questions, please let me know in the comment box. Subscribe and like. And this is my first YouTube tutorial, so if I messed up anything, I'm sorry. And anyway, thank you guys. See you soon.